welcome to Catholic Nest. So I thought I would share a curriculum that we're trying with my Year 3 daughter. That would be the American Grade 2. So she's a summer birthday, so she's a kind of picture between Year 2 and 3. So trying something a bit similar to what we've been doing anyway, which is this Cottage Press kind of Charlotte Mason approach, open and go. So it's very simple, it's very sweet, and I think it'll be quite good for encouraging independence because it's very the same formula that repeats. So they suggest it goes over 4 days a week, and it has the same kind of formula each day, which I'll show you through. So this is Primer 1 Autumn, which on their website it says that's aimed at grades 2 to 3, which would be the British Year 3 to 4. But again, you just look at your child's abilities and kind of pitch them in there, so it could suit older or younger depending. So for the first year, Primer 1, there are 3 workbooks: autumn, winter and spring, and you would need the teaching help as well. There's just 1 teaching help for the whole year. Then Primer 2 also has autumn, winter, spring and a teaching help. So I've only gone ahead and brought the first term because we're just going to see how she gets on. So this is the autumn primer, and all you need, there's no massive book list, all you need is this Aesop's Fables for Children, which was just £10. The workbook was £12, and a teaching help, I can't remember exactly, it was around the 10 to 12 mark as well. So that's it for the term. The only other thing they suggest you have is, because there is a picture study each week, on their website, Cottage Press, they have a section for art. If you go to that, they have a page of artists you can select from. You press any of the artists, it takes you straight to a PDF with 6 paintings that they've done and an information section, and you can print all that for free, no cost at all. I thought it was really good value. I've paid £10 off a Charlotte Mason site for our morning basket for a Giotto artist, and it's pretty much the same thing but free. So it's a brilliant, even if you're not doing this curriculum, it's a brilliant resource. So I've printed off 2 artists. They suggest 2 artists a term, and you look at a painting a week, so 6 paintings an artist, so you have 12 paintings. So I've chosen 2 that are quite contrasting in styles. So I've gone for John James Audubon, and I've just laminated it so I can use it with younger children later. There's a bit about his life, and then the 6 paintings. I think she'll really appreciate the nature theme on those. Then I've chosen Claude Monet, again with the information, and then 6 paintings. So they can recreate them, or they can just cut and paste them into the workbook. But I'm going to suggest she recreates them as she enjoys art. So we're going to use those 2 artists. And this I'll show you inside the workbook. So as a typical lesson, this is the first lesson. So there's a little bit for them to read, which is usually an excerpt from a kind of classic book, a poem, a nursery rhyme, or occasionally it'll be a little excerpt from a hymn or a little bit of scripture. Now the scripture is taken from King James version of the Bible, so we can always substitute for a Catholic version. So I've got a little bit on Solomon Grundy here, which is an English nursery rhyme, so she would read that. So then this is day 1, just these 2 pages. Every day has a bit where they write the date, and then They have a vocabulary list that you'd read with them and help make sure they understand what they mean. And then it tells you which story to read from Aesop. So the young crab and his mother. So most of them are quite short, these. So these are read aloud. So that's just this section here. So I'd read that out to her. And she would just illustrate the story here. So lots of drawing involved. So she would just narrate it via a picture, basically. Then over here there's a few sections from the nursery rhyme that she would do as copywork. And then there's a little spelling lesson at the end, which is learning how to spell the days of the week, or practicing if you already know. So that would be day 1. Day 2, again, the date at the top. And day 2 is nature study day. So some of the nature study days would have like a section to draw the tree that they're studying throughout the year. So a bit like with the Exploring Nature with Children curriculum, where they monitor a tree all year to see the seasonal changes, and they suggest that too. So they have all different nature sections. So there's a lot of focus on cardinal direction in this one, so learning north, south, east, west, which is where they start here. So find out what direction your house faces, and then write it here. And then there's a little poem, then a little rhyme down here to help them remember the direction, never eat shredded wheat. So they could either use a compass, or there's some ideas for them to create one. So there's a bit more of the nursery rhyme for them to copy here, and then the rest of the days of the week. And that would be day 2. So it's short, it's small, and it's manageable. It's nothing overwhelming. The writing is short, and it's just, because there's so much art and nature and drawing in it, I think it really breaks it up and makes it enjoyable. So day 3, the date again. We'll go through vocabulary words, and then you'd read the frogs and the ox to them. Just here. These are lovely moral little stories. And then again they would illustrate it, they'd copy the rest of the nursery rhyme here, and they'd practice writing all the days of the week. Then on day 4 they would do their picture study, so they'd write their date again. Then they'd get their artwork, whatever it might be. And then they would draw it here or on another piece of paper and stick it in, or you could just get them to cut out the picture if they weren't keen and put it in there. And then they'd write the artist. So I've laminated the sheets that have the name on the back. So they put the artist and the name of the painting at the bottom here. So obviously you have a good look at the artist work as well, and you talk about the picture, and there's a bit in the teaching tips book about how to do a picture study with them. And then there's a bit of dictation here, and then a little spelling lesson. So that would be 1 week's work with this. So you do need the teaching helps book, and there's lots about each section in the beginning, some tips and guide, and then in your teaching page you would have the bit that they're reading, so when they're reading it you could follow along here if you wanted. A bit about the copywork and dictation for the day, and a bit about the finding direction bit, guidance. So normally it would be laid out like this, so it says day 1, day 2, day 3, and it just gives you a bit of help. So as I say, it's got the whole year's guide in here. So that's Cottage Press. So I've really liked it. What we've been using before that is, I'll show you. So what we've been using before that is the same kind of thing basically, but using actual books for the excerpts. So these are the lesson books from the blog Mom Delights. That's American MOM. She has a vlog on YouTube, and she has a blog as well. Now you can either buy these online, I think they do them on Amazon, or you can download the PDFs and print them for free on her blog. So they're just basically, there's 4 levels. Let me find a blank page. So this would be level 1. So they're just blank for you to use how you want in the kind of Charlotte Mason style. So this is for the younger ones. You'd write the word, they'd copy it, and they'd illustrate the word. So then they'd have a section for copywork. They've got the dotted line, dictation, and narrative drawing, and it just go on like that all the way through. So again, nice and predictable. They know how much they're going to do, and that's what I liked about these workbooks, is that they knew what they were going to do, they knew how much they were going to do, so they could just get their head down, do it, and then they could go off and play. So they just go up in different levels. I have got level 2 somewhere. I think it's in one of their boxes, but they just so this is the level 3. Would go the words section. I like the fact they had little doodle areas, using some of the words in sentences. They have copywork with just normal lines, a narrative drawing, dictation, and just an area for doodles again, and that would just repeat. So level 4, different again. Put the words out, more sentences to use with the words, copywork, doodles, dictation, doodles, and then actual written narration and narrative drawing. So they all just go up slightly in level. So these are really good. We'll definitely use these again in the future. I just think that the Cottage Press one takes some of the work out for me this year as well, and makes it a little simpler. My eldest is in year 6, final year of primary age this year, and my second eldest is in year 5. I just want to work with them more closely to make sure they're ready for secondary level this year. So I really needed my 7-year-old to be, who was kind of up to speed, just to be plodding along nicely and to be as independent as she could, so that would free me up a little bit with them. And this, because everything is just in here already, it's all ready to go. There's not a huge book list that I have to buy loads of stuff for, or a source. It's just all in here and all incorporated. So there's a few other bits that I may add on for her, but the gist of it, the main part of it, is all included. So that's the basic look through from Cottage Press. I did get these from Amazon. They do have a website, but I don't think they actually sell from it. So I hadn't heard of them before this summer. I stumbled across them and I thought, oh, they look perfect. A bit of an answer to prayer. So that's a little look through and how we set it up. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe.